Hey, what's up? This is Diesel, and yep, like I promised, rebooking Goldberg if he came to WWE in 2002, a year earlier. After this rebooking, I realized, wow, Goldberg should have came 1 year earlier. In all seriousness, he really should have. Like, I feel Goldberg coming earlier would have gotten so much better things out the way. How? I'm going to explain it all when I do the rebooking. First things first. WWE, remember how they ran promo packages for guys like Godfather, Mr. Perfect, Goldust, and who's the fourth person? I kind of forget right now. We're coming back to Royal Rumble 2002. Same thing for Goldberg. And fans are hyped. Goldberg is finally coming. So, Goldberg's in the Royal Rumble, kicks some ass, eliminates some people, but gets eliminated. He's one of the last five. So before it's called, you have Lesnar, Undertaker, Kane, Batista, Goldberg's right at that fifth. And he makes an awesome performance. Next night on Raw, Goldberg comes out. Then Christian comes out and interrupts him as he's cutting a promo. They have a match on Raw. Goldberg squashes Christian in seconds, and Christian throws a temper tantrum. Remember, SmackDown, Christian comes on and says he wasn't ready, says Goldberg cheated, and said, if he's ready, he'd beat him. Goldberg comes out, has a match with Christian, squashes Christian again, and Christian throws another temper tantrum. Next week, Goldberg squashes a jobber. SmackDown, Goldberg squashes a jobber. Then Booker T and Goldberg have a feud. No Way Out 2002, Goldberg versus Booker T. Goldberg wins, 4-star match. Post No Way Out Raw, Goldberg calls out Stone Cold Steve Austin. Yep, when everybody's been waiting for, and challenges Stone Cold Steve Austin to a match at WrestleMania. Stone Cold Steve Austin accepts. SmackDown versus DDP. SmackDown, Goldberg has a match with DDP. Goldberg wins, 3 stars. They have awesome chemistry, but DDP was past it at this point. Raw next week versus Booker T. Edge interferes, distracts Booker T. Goldberg wins, 3.5 stars. SmackDown, Goldberg and Stone Cold have a sit-down interview like The Rock and Stone Cold did with JR the year prior. Talk about the dream match, the Monday Night Wars. And then speaking of Monday Night Wars, next week Raw, Stone Cold, Goldberg, The Rock versus the NWO. So just insert Goldberg in, and NWO still wins. SmackDown Go Home Show, Stone Cold and Goldberg versus the Outsiders. Austin and Goldberg wins, and then they have a stare down. WrestleMania 18's the big dream match. Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Bill Goldberg. P.S. Goldberg gets booed the fuck out of the building. Like, he gets booed hard because this is Stone Cold Steve Austin he's facing. And who wins? Obviously, Stone Cold Steve Austin. 4.25-star match. Now, before I continue booking, this is one example of why he should have came 1 year earlier. They could have did Stone Cold versus Goldberg at WrestleMania 18. So picture, you have Stone Cold versus Goldberg, The Rock versus Hulk Hogan. Like, that's just friggin' amazing right there. Right there. You have 2 of those huge ass dream matches. I feel if Stone Cold versus Goldberg was on WrestleMania 18, it still could have been on the level of WrestleMania 17 with the buy rate. Triple H versus Chris Jericho. Triple H with the politics way to close the show, but boy, that would have been a stupid move. And a lot more fans would have walked out or not cared about the match at Triple H and Chris Jericho because, okay, Triple H then main evented him versus Jericho. coming off of The Rock versus Stone Cold. I'm sorry, coming off The Rock versus Hulk Hogan, Stone Cold versus Goldberg, Trish Stratus hometown hero, and Triple H has to follow up and close all that. He would have made a stupid mistake doing that, just like he did in real life. But yeah, all that being said, post WrestleMania 18, Raw, Undertaker brags about meeting with Flair. Goldberg comes out, talks about how Undertaker's a coward for bragging about beating up on an old man and calls Undertaker to a fight. Match is set for Backlash. Next Raw, Goldberg's set to have a match, and Undertaker comes out and attacks Goldberg from behind and batters and bloodies him. Goldberg is out next week. A week after Goldberg comes back and gets Undertaker. No, comes out to get Undertaker, and Undertaker leaves. Then the go home show, Undertaker and Goldberg have a massive brawl to the point where security had to break them up. Backlash, Goldberg versus the Undertaker, the big dream match. I debated on who I should have win this. I went Goldberg. Goldberg goes over clean. 4.5-star match. Undertaker's heel, Goldberg's babyface. Let Goldberg win. Next few weeks, Goldberg has a feud with Ric Flair and NWO with Stone Cold. Insurrection versus Scott Hall. Goldberg wins, 2.5 stars. Scott Hall was way past this point. I added Insurrection this one time. Why not? Because I can. Judgment Day versus The Big Show and Ric Flair with Stone Cold Steve Austin. So have the match happen in real life, but just let Stone Cold have a tag team partner. Austin and Goldberg win, 3 stars. And then NWO takes out Goldberg. He's gone for a few weeks. And then Goldberg comes back in a few weeks, starts calling out The Rock, talking about he's always wanted to wrestle him. And it's been a mystery. Will The Rock come back and face Goldberg? And then Goldberg comes out ready and asks, will The Rock come out? This is King of the Ring. And then what hits? If you smell what The Rock is cooking. Fans pop. King of the Ring 2002. The Rock versus Bill Goldberg. I even debated on who should win this match. And I picked Goldberg. Yeah, I felt Goldberg should win over. Yeah, The Rock was gone for a bit, but, Goldberg's on fire. Yeah, have Goldberg win. Then Goldberg has a feud with Chris Jericho. Vengeance, he faced Chris Jericho. Just Jericho cheats to win. 4-star match. SummerSlam, he faces Chris Jericho. Goldberg wins, 4.25 match. And then Jericho attacks Goldberg after. Next week, Goldberg squashed the bigger jobber. And Chris Jericho attacks Bill Goldberg post-match. Unforgiven versus Chris Jericho. Goldberg wins via DQ. Next week, Goldberg versus Chris Jericho in a no DQ match. Goldberg wins, 4.25 match. And then after that, because Goldberg's been winning all this time, he faces Triple H for the world title. Goldberg wins via DQ, 3-star match. No Mercy. Goldberg versus RVD. RVD wins via DQ from Ric Flair. I don't think either men should beat each other, but RVD was more over than Goldberg. But Goldberg's on fire, and he still wants to keep him looking strong. So yeah, DQ from Ric Flair attacking RVD. And then next week, Goldberg and RVD versus Goldberg, RVD, and Kane versus Triple H, Ric Flair, and Chris Jericho. The heels win, heel fashion. Then Shawn Michaels comes out and attacks Triple H. And then Eric Bischoff decides how to settle all this, have an Elimination Chamber match. So basically, Goldberg replaces Booker T's spot. And then have Goldberg do what he did at SummerSlam on this match. Then just call Shawn Michaels Sweet Chin Music's Goldberg. Then Triple H pedigrees Goldberg and then eliminates him. It's down to Shawn Michaels Triple H in the chamber. And Shawn Michaels wins. It'll be a 4-star match. Why I believe that? everything RVD did in Survivor Series 2002 was the first Elimination Chamber match. You take what Goldberg did and you put it into the 2002 Elimination Chamber match along with what RVD did. That is a beyond 5-star classic. And then after Armageddon, Goldberg goes to SmackDown. First match he has on SmackDown with Rikishi. Goldberg wins 2.5 stars. Next week, it's called Goldberg versus Mark Henry. Goldberg wins 2 3/4. And then the first week of January 2003, Goldberg versus Kurt Angle. Benoit distracts Kurt Angle and Goldberg wins 4.5 stars. Got to keep Kurt Angle looking strong. SmackDown, okay, the 2003 Royal Rumble, Goldberg's in it again, tearing shit up. SmackDown post Royal Rumble, A-Train attacks Goldberg over him getting eliminated, being a sore loser. Next week, Goldberg attacks A-Train. Next week, Goldberg is set to have a match with Matt Hardy as the bell rings. Matt Hardy is being scared, backing away, and A-Train comes out of nowhere and attacks Goldberg from behind, and the match doesn't even start. Goldberg goes looking for A-Train next week. A-Train's nowhere to be found. Next week, Big Show and A-Train attack Goldberg backstage. No Way Out 2003, Goldberg versus A-Train. Goldberg wins 3 stars. SmackDown post No Way Out. Goldberg calls out Big Show. Big Show doesn't come out. Next week, Goldberg calls out Big Show. A-Train comes on and says he got lucky at No Way Out and he can kick his ass tonight. Goldberg accepts his challenge. Goldberg versus A-Train. Then Big Show interferes out of nowhere. Goldberg wins via DQ. 2-star match. Next week, Goldberg catches A-Train backstage and beats him with a chair. Next week, Goldberg chases Big Show with a chair. And Goldberg says at WrestleMania, Big Show is next. Could Goldberg still do the jackhammer on Big Show? He did it. WrestleMania 19, Goldberg wins 3 stars. SmackDown post WrestleMania, Goldberg versus Eddie Guerrero. Goldberg wins 4-star match. And after the match, Goldberg gores Rhino right after the match. Rhino cuts a promo talking about the spear from Goldberg, then says Goldberg never got the gore from Rhino. Goldberg comes on and says to Rhino at Backlash, "You're next." Backlash, Goldberg versus Rhino. Spear versus Gore. Goldberg wins 3-star match. SmackDown post Backlash. Goldberg versus Sean O'Haire, 2 WCW guys. Rhino interferes and attacks Goldberg. Goldberg wins via DQ, 3 stars. Next week, Goldberg and Rhino get into a backstage fight. Next week is Goldberg versus Rhino, no contest. Next week, Goldberg versus Rhino set for Judgment Day in a hardcore match because of all the chaos going on. Judgment Day, Goldberg versus Rhino, and a hardcore match. Goldberg wins. I think it'll be, 4 stars. Post Judgment Day SmackDown, Goldberg versus Chris Benoit for a spot in the WWE title match. Goldberg wins. Vengeance 2003. Brock Lesnar versus Kurt Angle versus Big Show versus Goldberg. Goldberg wins his first WWE title because he pins the Big Show. Goldberg comes on and talks about how he's happy to be the WWE champion for the first time. Brock Lesnar comes on and says how he had to pin Big Show to win. Big Show comes on and says Goldberg needed help to beat him. Big Show challenges Brock Lesnar for a match. Lesnar says, "I don't care who has the title. SummerSlam, I'm getting my rematch clause at SummerSlam." Goldberg versus Big Show is set for the night. Goldberg wins 2.5 stars last week of July. Next week, Goldberg versus Kurt Angle 2. Goldberg wins clean 4-star match. Next week, Goldberg and Kurt Angle versus Brock Lesnar and Big Show. Lesnar and Show win. Then Lesnar attacks Goldberg, lays him out. 3.5-star match. Goldberg is out next week. SmackDown Go Home show. Goldberg comes out and beats Brock Lesnar with a chair. And then as Goldberg has Brock Lesnar laid out, then tells Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam, "You're next." SummerSlam 2003, Goldberg versus Brock Lesnar, the big dream match for the WWE title. And it made events the show because what other match would be more important than this? Brock Lesnar wins clean, 4.5-star match. Then Goldberg retires. And the big question, what will the world title match be? RVD versus Kane. Triple H was injured. He could barely do anything at that point. He didn't need to be world champion. RVD was probably the most over guy at that point on Raw 2003. Kane was, a new character. And who would win? Kane wins. But yeah, that's my rebooking Goldberg. If he came 1 year earlier, and in my humble opinion, guys, I really feel Goldberg would have had a better run if he came 1 year earlier. He can catch a match with Stone Cold at WrestleMania. He can catch The Rock in his prime and still at his athletic peak. He could face The Undertaker. He could face Triple H without either one of them having to lose. He could have been involved in the first Elimination Chamber match, made it even more crazy. It's called along with RVD. He could have match RVD. Sucks I couldn't find a way to fit in what's called Goldberg versus Kane, but whatever. No, did we even get that? I don't even think we got that one on one. I don't know. Gotta search my news. I forgot if they wrestled or not. Yeah, like I felt looking back at this, I'm like, wow, if Goldberg came 1 year earlier, put on a great performance at the Royal Rumble, Goldberg could have had an awesome year, and then him being in SmackDown, Shut Your Mouth, and then with him still being there till SummerSlam, he could have still made the SmackDown Here Comes the Pain cut. So with that being said, guys, I feel Goldberg not being in WWE a year earlier was actually a mistake looking back. Because by the time he got there next year, he faced The Rock, but The Rock was doing his Hollywood gimmick. The Rock was wrestling a more safer style. He lessened his tone in the ring. Goldberg was rusty. The Monday Night Wars have more weared off. And 2003. He didn't get a chance to be on the same show with Kurt Angle wrestling him. Brock Lesnar versus Goldberg could have happened much earlier. He could have got a match at the Big Show. He could have got more legendary feuds. So I'm rambling on, guys, but my point is, I really feel that Goldberg coming in 1 year after was a mistake. Looking back, I really wish he could have came to WWE a year earlier. Think about this too. He could have wrestled in the Royal Rumble, wipe off some rust there, still protect him, still not make him look so rusty, have a few house show matches that we don't see. Squash Christian, some jobbers, have a match Booker T No Way Out. So by the time he's ready to face Stone Cold Steve Austin, he's not rusty at that point, 3 months in. So that being said, Goldberg not coming in a year earlier, looking back, big mistake. And I felt there could have been some serious money involved too if he came a year earlier. Just imagine again, Stone Cold versus Goldberg at WrestleMania 18, along with The Rock versus Hulk Hogan. That would have drew way more money right there. Comment, like, subscribe, give me your honest feedback. What rebooking am I doing next? I don't even know.